with the previous video based learning on self-introduction, wherein I have given a very clear view about how to introduce yourself in an appropriate manner with an adequate sketch of introduction. Even I have given you about a glimpse of the optionals to be included to stretch on your introduction to be a long sketch introduction. To continue further with regard to the long sketch introduction, what are the things to be added? Let us discuss that one. The things after your strength, if the recruiter is asking you more about yourself, include your hobbies, your interest, your family. Now, once you are including your hobby, you should be very clear about what is a hobby. Generally, with a free time, you are excited to do that one, you love to do that one, and even you are passionate of doing such. That is called as a hobby. Maybe playing cricket, playing basketball, playing kabaddi, playing chess, or maybe computing, gaming, all those things. What is there with you? With every free time that you love to do that what is called as your hobby. Interest is something which you have a interest of, you have a desire of, you may do it, may not do it at your free time, but you love to do that. Maybe occasionally, or sometimes, or maybe situationally you are doing that one, but not all the time. Now, coming to hobbies, even hobbies are meaningful, my dear friends. Make it sure that all the time you are going to demonstrate about your hobbies. Be very careful that the recruiter may ask you a cross question with regard to your hobby, that what does your hobby mean to you? Or what is all about that one? What learnings you take from your hobby? What is the help that you are getting from your hobby? Maybe many sort of cross questions may arise by the recruiter by listening to your answer about your hobbies. So be very careful to have a backup plan about your hobbies. Let me give you certain example of hobbies you can easily understand that what sort of cross questions the recruiter may ask you and why the recruiter may be asking you about a cross question. Some people, they are telling that my hobby is playing cricket, volleyball, basketball, maybe kabaddi, maybe kho, all these are your team games. Whenever you are telling about this, the recruiter is framing a mind draft in his mind that you are really a team player. You know the very importance of working in a team. But when you are telling that I'm a runner, I'm a sprinter, I'm a boxer, I'm a weightlifter, I'm a bodybuilder, in that case, it gives an impression that you are an individual player. You have always played games of individual interest and always played game wherein you can be treated as a major challenger. While working in a company tomorrow, also you can challenge the things better, but may not be possibly able to work with a team. But for instance, you say that, sir, I play cricket as well as I am a runner too. So in that case, what should I write first and what should I write next? Watch the nature of the job, watch the nature of the company. What is the requirement of the company? According to that one, if it is requiring a team playing work or if it is requiring a team playing job, in that case, give priority to playing cricket first. Then your individual sport may be running, sprinting, or maybe boxing, or maybe your weightlifting. Coming to the next hobbies, giving you certain examples to your next hobbies. The next hobbies are such like, if you say that I love to do gardening, that indicates that while the way you are taking care of plants, trees and all, the same way whenever you'll be working in a company, you can take care of your team members as well. If you say I love cooking, yes, cooking is a hobby. Even boys can say that I love cooking and cooking is my hobby. That indicates that you are a person of independent nature. You don't depend on anyone. That's a very good hobby, in fact. Now, for instance, if you tell that my hobby is playing guitar, or I love singing, I love instrument playing, all these hobbies indicate that you are an entertainer. At any point of time, you can entertain yourself, you can entertain all your team members as well. Now, every hobby is having a meaning. If you say you are a dancer, you love dancing, that indicates that you are a very flexible person. You can flexibly do a lot of things and you can be a multitasker. At the same time, you can be an active, energetic person too. There are different hobbies with different meanings. Like, for instance, you are playing chess, it indicates that your mind plays strategic games. You take decisions very essentially. You have the decision taking capabilities, and your decisions are very strategically proved. For instance, you say that I play Sudoku puzzles, I play crossword puzzles. In that case, it indicates that you are a problem solver. At any point of time, if you are having a problem in your life, in your career, in your profession, you can easily get the solutions to that one. So every hobby is meaningful, my dear friends. Try to understand the importance of hobbies. Try to understand that how the cross questions may be asked to you on the basis of your hobbies. Many people used to say that I love to read books. Now what could be the next possible cross question here? What sort of books you read? What sort of learnings you take from that particular books that you are reading? Some people used to say that I love to read newspapers. You may be asked with regard to the current affairs. You may be asked with regard to the current news. You may be asked with regard to what is going on, or what is going on in the society, what is going on in the country, or what is the recent update news for the day. Be very careful with regard to all these things whenever the recruiter is going to put you across questions. Be aware of this all. Be aware of all those things. Have a backup plan or a backup preparation so that you are not going to get stuck when the recruiter is putting you such sort of cross questions. Now, while coming to the family, you can say like this, that we are three members in the family, four members in the family, maybe five members in the family. But if you belong to a joint family, never say that the number of members you are having in your joint family. Rather than that one, you can say that I belong to a joint family that will do the work. After saying that one, you need to speak something about your father. Add a salutation before your father's name, like Mr. Sri, etc. You can say something about your father, like my father, Mr. So and so, is a government employee working in this department as such and such. One sentence complete full about your father. Don't make break in the sentences, like my father is a government servant, and then after you won't be saying anything, the recruiter is going to ask you a question. In which department he is working? You will say in this particular department he is working. The next question the recruiter would ask you again, what is his position over there? He is working as such and such. So why the recruiter would be again and again asking you and getting irritated of asking so much of time? It's rather better to give a one line sentence full go about your father, one line sentence full about your mother. Now my mother, Mrs. So and so, she is a homemaker. If she is a housewife, never utter the term housewife, because this term or this terminology of saying housewife to your mother, your father can speak about this, that my wife, she is a housewife. But it is very indecent for you to speak about your mother as a housewife. Rather, you can say she is a homemaker instead of saying housemaker. The moment you are saying housemaker, she can become a civil engineer and start constructing the houses. Exactly, she is not a civil engineer, right? She is a home manager. She manages the home beautifully so that you are going to get organized with every sort of thing that you are doing at your home. So she is your home manager, so you can say she is a homemaker. The best term to speak for your mother. If she is a working lady, you can speak about the working profession about your mother. As you have said about your father in a one sentence go, you can say something about your mother in a one sentence go. Coming to the siblings, you can say about your siblings only how many brothers and how many sisters. One brother, one sister, or one sister only, or one brother only, or if you are the only child of your parent, that's okay. With regard to this family, I would like to say one more thing. Many people, while introducing themselves, they used to start the introduction like this. Hello friends, my name is this, my father's name is this. Once they are saying their father's name, that indicates that they are completing their introduction in the starting point only. Including your family at the starting is not called as a good start, or is not called as a good way of representing your introduction. So try always to include your family towards the last, which is an optional point. The 5 points which I have already said you about your name, about your place, about your qualification or your experience, maybe your training exposures, your internships, your implant trainings, and the strength that you are having. These are the 5 important things which is really required. Apart from that one, if additional things are required, then your hobbies can be included, your interest can be included, and all about your family can be included at the last. But after that also, if the recruiter is willing to ask you something more about you, in that case you can include about your aim in life and the ideal person in life. While speaking about your aim, you should be very clear, very proficient, that how can I speak about my aim. Specifically, if the recruiter has not asked you about your aim and you have included in your introduction, well and good. Or else, this aim can be asked as a separate HR question, a human resource question. When the HR is going to ask you a question, tell me something about your aim in life, tell me something about your ambition. Now, this one we will be discussing the time we are going to discuss about your HR interview questions. Not now exactly, because it will divert the attention of the direction of the video, that we are going to speak about introduction and we'll be talking something more about your HR interviews. That would be something very disaster. So let us not discuss that one here. Coming to the last one, all about your additional point, that is all about your ideal person in life. Now, once you are speaking about the ideal person in life, maybe whosoever, your father, your mother, your brother, your sister, maybe Swami Vivekananda, or maybe Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, or maybe Gautam Buddha. So whosoever is your ideal, why? With a reason you have to justify that one. With this, you can again ask to the recruiter the same line, like, sir, if you needed any further specific details regarding any part of my career, I am ready to explain it. This is the last line, which is very interestingly, it gives a definition to the recruiter, that if the recruiter wants something more from you, something extra from you, something specific from you, they may ask about it. Or else the recruiter will say, no, it's fine. Now, once the recruiter is saying it's fine, that indicates that your task is done. So with respect to the time and giving respect to the learnings that we have learned for today's session, is all about the optionals to be included in your introduction. Apart from the 5 points which we have discussed, the extra points that we are going to add is such like, let me give a short recapitulation. It's all about your hobbies. Have a proper meaning and proper understanding to your hobby. Be very prepared as well if the recruiter is going to ask about your hobbies. Next one is your interest, your likings, and about your family. Resting up with this part, if the recruiter is still asking you certain things, 2 additionals you can include. And that 2 additionals are such like your aim in life and your ideal person in life, with a example or with a reason. Why? With all this, your speaker, your coach, your host, your mentor, Devashish Dev, is resting until the time I'll be coming up with certain new learning based videos for you. Thank you for watching me.